Chapter 2. The Tavern of the Fisher Town. In the middle of this small Norse shipping town called Surbuvågen was a tavern. Rachelle knew that Gavin frequented this tavern and which nights he would be there. Rachelle had always lived in the town. She knew almost everyone, except the fishermen passing through. She lost her parents at the age of 14 to some raiders on the town's outskirts. Two people in the community decided to look over her and take care of her till she was older. One was the bartender and owner of the tavern she was walking toward. The other was Nan. As she walked down the town's street, she passed by what used to be Gavin's small one-bedroom cabin in one of the main street buildings. She hoped maybe he moved back in there, but it looked vacant. She walked further down the road with a small cloth bag held close to her belly with both arms. Rachelle took her time on this stroll as she guessed that if Gavin was not in his flat, then he must be in the tavern, and it gave her time to build up the courage to do what she needed to do. She walked up the stairs and entered the tavern, not surprised to see all the local regulars along with a few new faces of fishermen passing through town. And there was Gavin sitting with 2 pints of beer in front of him and a third one in his hand. He was going on with one of his stories while Marcus, the bartender and owner, listened and seemed amused. Gavin was a stocky-built man with thick, blonde hair. He was a lumberjack and supplied the town with timber for building, so he was still in his work clothes. You could see specks of sawdust on him in places. Rachelle walked toward him with a straight face, but as she got closer, her grim demeanor turned to a presentable grin and her eyes sparkled as Gavin turned toward her. "Hey, stranger, I haven't seen you in a few ages," he said, smiling. She smiled back as she sat demurely beside him on a tall stool and placed the cloth bag on the bar. "I haven't seen you either. When I go to the lumber yard, you're not there. When I come here, you're nowhere to be found," she shrugged. "You must be spending all your free time with what's-her-name?" Rachelle glanced at Marcus, hoping he would be on her side, and then nodded to Gavin as though he was a lovesick fool, which he was. Swallowing a sip of beer, Gavin cleared his throat and set the pint down on the bar. "I guess I haven't been as available as I once was, but you know this." He looked up at her, fully aware that this could become very intense. He always knew Rachelle had always liked him. She had even professed her love for him one night after the tavern closed and he had walked her home. He also remembered her look of disappointment when he had told her about Selena and how the two of them wanted to be together. Rachelle leaned forward and rested her arm on the bar. "How can you want to be with that black-haired woman? You know she isn't even from this land. What can you two have in common?" She tilted her head as she looked at Gavin, running her hands through her golden hair while staring into his eyes. Then she moved her hand from resting on the bar to his strong forearm. Gavin's face became distraught. It was clear how he felt about Selena, and he did not want Rachelle to try and seduce him to change his mind. He was hoping Rachelle would not pursue him further, but she placed both her arms on Gavin's shoulders and moved her lips closer to his, whispering, "What can she provide, Gavin, that I do not? I have so much more for you. You have no idea." She moved close enough to kiss him, and her lips caught his for an instant. Quickly, Gavin stood up. "Sorry, my dear lady, but the men's latrine beckons." He left the bar. Rachelle's arms fell to her lap. Her smile faded and sadness overtook her countenance.